And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Big Brothers and Big Sisters here in Southeast New Mexico, Bill Wolf back with us. Good morning, Bill.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Doing great. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Same to you.
You ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's just going to be my wife and I.
It's a nice, quiet.
Yeah, nice. We got a turkey breast, and
Okay.
but we're going to have all the traditional stuff just in a smaller quantity.
Nice. Enough for leftovers.
Oh, that's the only reason. All my friends, well, come on over. I said, you have leftover boxes.
That's right. Well, good deal.
Yeah.
Well, good news. You finally were able to have your Bowl for Kids' Sake event here on the Halloween weekend here after basically almost a 2-year hiatus because of COVID and everything. But it sounds like good news is it was a great event. Had a lot of people show up. We're able to raise some good money for Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and that'll really help keep the matches coming here.
That's it. Yeah. We had a good turnout. We got a lot of people donated some good prizes. Everybody had fun.
Good.
I don't know. Everybody that comes to that says we'll be back next year.
Good.
And like we had our primary sponsors were Roswell Sertoma and Toyota.
Crumlin.
Crumlin.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crumlin Auto Group.
Okay.
And then other big sponsors were Pioneer Bank, First American Bank. I can just go on and on because I'll forget somebody. But, but without their help, this isn't possible.
Absolutely. That's what's great that that these businesses are supporting and then get it. They get the importance of what Big Brothers and Big Sisters is all about, and obviously with the last 2 years that's been going on here, it's been rough for everybody. But it's very, very difficult to keep to make these matches happen and to keep them going strong. There's been a lot of resources and time spent to keep these things going, and so it's great to see that the community got involved and supported it, so we can keep doing these things. So.
Yeah, it's been tough making matches over the last year, especially since we're still kind of locked out of the schools. A lot of our matches were part of either the after-school program
that was your
or
foot in the door
lunch buddies
to reach some of these kids. Yeah,
and but we're making community matches where you pick your child up in the community.
Yeah,
and it's been slow. We haven't grown nearly as fast as we had planned, but as things come back to normal, we'll continue to get our kids in there and help them. And, a lot of people don't realize that we do everything free.
That's it.
It costs the families nothing.
Yeah, that's zero cost to the families, to the bigs, to the littles. Nothing is out of pocket for them. This is
right,
and that's why That's why the Bowl for Kids' Sake is so important, because on average it takes about $1,500 a year to support a one match for a year. That's basically what it costs between the background checks and just the various events, things that are part of that 1 year, that first year, and every year really. But I mean, it's expensive to do that, and that dime is picked up solely by Big Brothers, Big Sisters. So that's why Bowl for Kids' Sake is so important. That's why when you make your donations online or things like that, that it goes directly to helping these matches.
Yep, we are completely 100% donor supported. Now we'll get grants and stuff.
Sure.
Fortunately, we have a grant with the CYFD where they reimburse us for hours of mentoring, but that was kind of difficult this year because we didn't really have as many hours of mentoring as we thought we could have.
Right, and COVID probably eliminated the possibility there in some of these cases.
So we lost a bunch of that funding, but they work with us, and we just keep plodding along.
Sure.
But, it's interesting that some of the bigs that hung in with us, but there at the very beginning, they couldn't meet with their littles, but we fashioned some virtual stuff. Zoom became part of everybody's life.
Sure. Yeah.
And it worked out. Now that the bigs and littles can meet again, if they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And
the freedoms are starting to come back slowly into the fold here. So it's starting to look more like what it's traditionally intended to be, that chance for you to spend quality time as bigs and littles together doing and hanging out and doing all fun stuff and, being a mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, our national organization, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America, it's changed the whole aspect of making matches from a
Really?
standpoint of before you could not do anything virtually,
Mm-hmm.
but now
Kind of the way of the world.
it's the way of the world, and it works, and it makes it easier on a lot of people as far as getting matched.
Sure.
We can do a virtual interview with a big now.
It streamlines the timeline, I imagine, a little bit too. Yeah.
But we still have that one-to-one contact after the match is made on a monthly basis, because child safety is our number one thing.
Absolutely.
And as long as we can do that and maintain a safe match, then we're doing good.
We're all about it then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is something that this is true in any time. It doesn't matter COVID or not. The demand for bigs is always high. And I know there's been certain times we need more males and women and things, but if you are interested in being a big, we'd love to have you, male, female. If you're 18 and up and would love to be a part of the community-based program here, we'd love to have you reach out. And it's a fun, rewarding experience. It's not an overnight thing. You're not going to call Bill today and say, I want to be a big, and tomorrow you're going to have a little. It's going to take a month or so to go through background checks and process. And then there's the matchmaking process. Think of your Match.coms times 10, where they really sit through and they're going to ask you a lot of questions about you. And they do the same thing to the little, just to find out what makes you tick, what you're into, and what you enjoy.
Yep.
That way, they try to find a match that vibes with that. So if you find a little that, now they're not going to look for little clones of you. That's a little weird. But if you both have a mutual interest in, say, a sport or a hobby or a skill set, or you both are into, clothing, or if you're both into books or hunting or whatever it is, you find those connections and use that as your ends, so to speak, to making that connection and making that relationship last.
Yeah, I was talking with a big. He's probably been a big for probably 6 or 7 months, but I ran into him. I said, well, how's it going? Well, it's going good. He says, one thing I'm learning. I says, what? He said, to fish. He said, I never learned to fish, but my little likes to fish. And he said,
he's teaching him?
He said, he's teaching me.
That's
and
great.
it's fun. He said, we're having a lot of fun.
See, and that's cool, because now this child's actually getting some mentor role themselves and kind of learning that. So when they get to the age where they're going to be doing more of that and less of receiving the mentorship, they're going to have that those skill set at least familiar with it. That's great.
Yeah, that's kind of rewarding when you see that.
Not to mention, I imagine that bond, because when it's a give and take like that a little bit, where the kid feels more probably open to wanting to share other things that might be something a little more personal or something like that, or something that they feel more comfortable talking with the big about, and that sets the table for that.
You got to become their friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, you got to be, as the relationship develops, and you be getting more trust in each other, then the little can start opening up and talk about maybe his family life, or the big can say, you said this, but these are opportunities that are available for you. Here's school. You got to stay in school. And that's one thing that our program does. It invariably, kids will stay in school longer, and they will get in less trouble in school.
Yeah.
And as far as the getting into trouble with drugs and alcohol and stuff, it's been shown that our kids are less likely to do that than non-mentor kids.
And that's where you as the big can come as a mentor, because all of us have probably walked some of the shoes that they were walking in right now, going to school and trying to navigate life in school and home life and social life and all that.
Yeah.
And, as an adult, odds are pretty good you've went through those exact same experiences. And so your insight there can be valuable to those littles like that. And that's where the disconnect, where parents will tell them that, and you know how that goes, it went in one ear and out the other. But someone that they kind of look at differently, they might be more receptive to hearing that. It's like, oh, well, when I was in school, I had bullies. This is what I did. Or if I had this is how I handled that. Or remember one time I had an accident here, and this is how I dealt with that situation. And so when you share that kind of stuff and talk with the littles, they can relate. And all of a sudden those walls come down that say, oh, they don't understand what I'm going through, to, oh,
yeah,
he did he or she did the same thing I did. And now, they know exactly what I've done before. Maybe I should listen to how they did it and see if that helps me,
Yeah, you just showed them different experiences that
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't see in their normal day-to-day activities.
Yeah.
You know, if no one's ever graduated from high school in a family, depending on the situation, that may not be a priority item for some
Sure,
people.
absolutely. And so
Or
you can kind of put that in there and say, no, you're going to set yourself up for success down the road with more options when you go through school here and everything else. So, and
when we follow up with our match support, that's one of the main questions. How's school going?
mm-hmm.
What's your favorite subject? How
Yeah.
are you doing? If you're having problems, have you talked to your teacher? Just things like that.
Yeah.
Because education is probably the main thing that keeps kids out of trouble.
Absolutely. Well, and knowledge is power. They always say these kind of things, and you hear these statements.
Yeah.
But that's all very true with the education behind you, with those piece of paper saying you graduated from high school and your college degrees, and the experience here. That's telling people that you're able to complete a task and go through,
Mhm.
and that's why even like college, when they say sometimes it's even if you have a degree that's not like a degree that seems like it translates to anything in the business world. But the fact that you completed a degree program, that makes people look and say, okay, I get it. Your degree's not in a necessarily a field we're looking at. However, because you have a college degree, we know that we can give you a job and know that you'll get it done at the
Yeah.
end. And that's that's the kind of stuff people look for in things. And so you're feeding that into the kid. You're learning some of that yourself, and that's really how part of Big Brothers Big Sisters work, is that just those little lessons in life and things, and just little nuggets and things that you just impart and pass on, that hope some of
Yeah.
them stick, and hope some of them help make navigating life for that child a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's funny. We've had a match that they've probably been matched 5 years, and is a female and a little girl, but now the little girl is hit the age 13.
Ah,
And I was talking to her big sister, and she said, "Yeah, it's a whole different thing now. She coming over to my house to cook is not as much fun as it used to be, but they still do stuff together." She said,
Good.
"I just have to be a little more original."
yeah, you got to get a little older in your thinking on what a 13-year-old wants versus a
Yeah.
10-year-old or an 8-year-old.
Yeah, and they're going through a whole different set of. It seems like when they hit middle schools, when things start kind of changing, their influences become more school based than.
Yeah, and I think that's when they start wanting to be in the room with the adult conversation. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
want to be part of things, but everyone's telling them they're too young, so they get to say it. So I think there's a little
Yeah.
animosity at that age there, where they want to feel like they're part of the thing, but everyone's telling them they're not ready for it yet, and they're like, "No, I am," and they're entering that a phase of life,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And
And I mean, as a father, I saw that too. They say your parents get smarter as you get older.
yeah, or at least get savvy. One or the other.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you're interested, that's a great opportunity here. We're looking at the Thanksgiving weekend here, and people use this time to not only stuff their faces, but remind themselves of the things that they have and the blessings they have in their life, and be thankful for those. And a lot of people use this time to try to pay it forward to those blessings to others. Maybe if you're thinking, well, and that's the great thing about Big Brothers Big Sisters. It doesn't require a lot of time. Doesn't require a lot of money or anything on your part here. If you just have a desire and an hour a week, basically,
Yeah.
you're that's it. That's what you need. You don't have to plan grand things or prepare
No.
these exotic day packages and all that. It's just you incorporating a little into your life and incorporating those things into it. You spend an hour a week. Maybe you're going to go run errands or go see a movie, or maybe you're just going out to lunch. That's take you a little long, and you have lunch and chit chat and talk and find out about their day, and then maybe go bowling afterwards, or go to the park and have
Yeah.
a catch, or go fishing, or whatever it is you're into, or shopping, whatever it is you're into. That's Big Brothers Big Sisters. And then during those conversations, it's you hanging out with a friend. It's what do you do with your friend, the ones that it's legal and not adult stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like you go out and have lunch, you go see movies, all those things. That's what you're doing with a little. That's it.
Yep.
That's all you're doing, and just helping them navigate life through your eyes, and through there, you're trying to get an understanding and seeing what you can do to kind of make it a little easier for them.
Yeah, well, you're developing a relationship, and sometimes it goes very quickly. Sometimes it's a little, but the thing to remember is our agency is behind you every step of the way.
Yeah.
You ever have any questions about your match?
You're never on an
call us.
island.
Yeah, and we talk to the littles, we talk to the bigs, and make sure that everything coincides, because child safety is our number one thing.
Yeah.
But we'll have bigs call us. Well, I don't think I just doesn't seem like I'm getting through. And then the little will say, "Man, we went this there, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. I really like being with him or her."
Certain kids at certain ages can be kind of cryptic about that stuff.
Yeah.
They look like they're just a bump on the log, and you're like, well, gee, they didn't enjoy that. But in reality, they loved every minute of it, and they just don't express it well, or chose not to, or whatever that is. But
Yeah.
that happened. And then, like you said, you guys get reports, and they're very happy with everything that happens there. But yeah, and that's where you guys come in and help, because you see all these things. You've been there and done that. So if you're not knowledgeable on what to do here, or if you're looking for ideas on how to incorporate a great outing with your little, or ways to get through, or think, that's where you guys excel. And Big Brothers
Yeah.
Big Sisters, that support program, through your team of people that work there, even through the numbers of the other bigs and little, there's tons of resources. The bigs, that's a kind of a community in itself, where the bigs and littles have little events together, just bigs and littles out, going to have lunch or dinner or some kind of fun event. But during those times and things, you can kind of talk and compare and say, hey, how are you doing with your little? What things are you running into?
Yeah.
Well, and then other, people that maybe been bigs longer, like, well, this is what I do to kind of break down some walls here and talk. And so it really can be not only the expert advice from the Big Brothers staff, but also the crowd sharing information from just the people that are in the trenches doing it, and finding what works, and comparing and contrasting there too.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, I want to say something. Somebody asked me, he said, "Why don't you get Mike to be a big brother?" And I said, "Well, in a way he is."
Yeah.
I said, he talks about the program. He talks to other people about the program, and he knows as much about it as my staff. And he does. And you know what?
Oh, do I get a?
This is, it says,
Oh,
to
thank
Mike
you.
Winters, thank you for defending the potential of children in
Aw.
Southeastern New Mexico.
Oh, well, thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Because I appreciate you and your
Thank
station.
you. That's very
do a
nice. I'm
lot-
gonna put it
do a
right here
lot-
with my stuff.
Yeah, do a lot for us.
Oh, well,
And-
thank you. That's very nice. Not necessary, but thank you
I
very
know.
much. I appreciate that. I do it because I love you guys. I know people always say you do so much to help us. I'm like, I do it because you guys do such great things. That's
Yeah.
if I want to support people that are doing good for our community, and yourself and many other great organizations are doing some awesome stuff
Yep.
here, and I want to shout it from the rooftops for folks. So
Yeah, and we couldn't do
thank
it
you.
without your help, without our sponsors' help, without our donors' help. It's funny. Southeast New Mexico, there's, as far as children mental health services, there's not hardly anything around here. Some of my staff, they were having to go to Albuquerque they're having some issues with their daughter and stuff like
wow.
that. But we provide a service that if it weren't for us, some of these kids wouldn't have any help at all.
Yeah, that's unfortunate but true.
Yeah,
It's so
and
sad but true.
all our staff is they're degreed social workers or degreed child. They work. Some of them work for CYFD, so they've seen a lot.
They've
of
been in
stuff.
the industry. They got the training for the industry.
Yeah.
This is their passion to help and help these kids and get them the foundations that every kid deserves.
Yeah, and most of our kids. There's some kids that are in a situation where we can't help them. When I say situation, a behavioral situation that I would not ask a big or a little,
Sure.
a big or to come into and say, you're not a social worker. We know that.
Yeah.
So we'll recommend the family. Here's what you need to try this. You need
Sure.
to try this. You need to try this.
Well, when you're dealing with some of that stuff, odds are, that's probably because there's some mental health condition issues, things
Yes.
there, and that's where you probably need more medically trained folks to be working with those youth and individuals. We, the people, just aren't equipped to do those kind of things.
Yeah.
So that's where you need the more expertise training, and
Yep.
because to be honest, we, the lay person, could actually do more damage and good with the intention of doing good. If you don't, you know what I mean? If that
Yeah.
makes sense there.
And I don't want to put a person, a big or volunteer in a situation that they feel like they don't know what to do.
Sure.
From a standpoint of either the child's behavior or stuff. And that's the reason we assess the child and the family and the big so well that we can avoid situations like that happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. The program is designed for everything to just, to mesh, to work well together.
Yes.
And, obviously in the world we live in, a perfect world, that works out perfect every time. But in reality, every child and every individual is unique. So every little thing, and there's scenarios and situations that there isn't a playbook for, and you have to kind of work on the fly or bring in additional resources to make sure those things happen. And so that's where you come in and say, all right, this child is a perfect benefit for our little program, working with other things. And then on the other hand, this child needs something a little more advanced than what Big Brothers Big Sisters has. Now, once we get that going, and let's get them in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program afterwards, because just because they're not ready for it today doesn't mean 6 months from now they're ready for the program. And that's kind of where you and your staff kind of assess in that area. And again, that's all part of the matchmaking process. So when you as a big say, I want to volunteer and be a part of a child's life, everything's put together in the recipe book to say, you know what? We've got the right ingredients here to make this happen.
Yeah.
I got a feeling you two are going to be magical friends for the next 30 years, and that's what we hope to see.
Yeah. It's, we've had 3 or 4, well, I'm trying to think, since I've been here in 10 years, we probably had 5 or 6 people that were matched for more than 6 years, where from elementary school to high school. And, we got the picture of them graduating from high school.
And I imagine to this day, all those connections still to stay in contact. I bet they're talking to each other this weekend over Thanksgiving holiday. Sure.
There was one of the littles was in the big wedding.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's to me, that's the ultimate story of wins for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yeah.
Is when you're seeing that the program works so well that they are long-standing friends when they're both into the adulthood and long into, going on to those milestones in life. And when your littles now having their family and the big still involved with it, that to me is just there's not enough of those stories I couldn't hear. That's great to see. When that happens. Well,
one of our staff persons was a little when she was growing up, and she knew all about the program. And when we were looking for a person, she applied, and she had a social degree and stuff, and she can talk about the program better than anyone I know.
Well, I imagine since she lived it, she's more invested in it. She's going to be one that come hell or high water, she's going to make sure this program works, because she sees what it can be and what it does, and it's great to have people in your court, working like that. So that's great to see. So I think about it over this holiday weekend. If you're thinking, this is something I would like to invest some time in and work with these kids. There's many different ways to do that. It's not unheard of for couples to do it together.
Yeah.
Or if you each have your own big, maybe the wife has a little girl that she is a big for, and the husband a boy, and you can do it that way. Or like I said, or as a couple. I mean, that sometimes happens too.
Yeah.
Brother, sisters kind of thing. There's different ways to do this, but really in the traditional program, they ask for a minimum of 4 hours a month.
4 hours a month,
which boils down to an hour a week. Which there's no timesheets you fill out like, well, I only did 57 minutes this week. We got to do 63 next. There's none of that mess. It's just kind of a ballpark thing, and say, what happens sometimes is you might spend a whole day together and then not hang out till next month or something. But that's kind of how those work. But that it's all really just a part of living your life and bringing that child into it. And if you've been thinking about it and say, hey, this is something you can make the biggest impact in our community with really the littlest amount of effort on your part. And what I mean, I think there's 2 things you can do that make the big impact very easily. One's donating blood, because you can go in there, give some blood, and you've saved a life, and cost you 45 minutes of time. Big Brothers Big Sisters is the other one. An hour a week you spending with that child can make a difference. You might have just created the next president of the United States, or the next doctor that finds the cure for cancer, or the next child that grows up to become the person that invents the one product that we can't live without yet. That's what you're creating, is that next generation for us. And it costs you an hour going to the park and hanging out and just having some fun with some kids.
Yep. And it doesn't take a whole lot. Doesn't take a lot of money. It just takes a little bit of your spare time.
Absolutely. So if I swayed you, go check out their website this weekend. Big Brothers Big Sisters for Southeast New Mexico. It's www.bbbssenm.org.
Yes.
If you don't remember any of that, which I expect you not to, it's the initials for Big Brothers Big Sisters Southeast New Mexico. You can instantly Google Big Brothers Big Sisters Roswell, Chaves County,
it'll pop
Southeast New Mexico. Any of these will get you to the website. There you can learn more about the program. There you can start the application process if you'd like. If you'd like to donate monetarily, if you're saying, I don't have time right now, but you know what? I'd like to contribute some money to help make these matches happen. That's greatly appreciated as well. And as Bill always says, we need bigs and bucks.
That's what I was saying.
And if you can't be the big, be the buck. And come on,
give us the bucks. Yeah.
So we'd love to have you do that. And of course, if you're a Facebook user, Big Brothers Big Sisters Southeast Mexico, you can like and follow that. There you can kind of scroll down and read some of the success stories and different things that are going on. And then, of course, nationally, you go online, you can find all kinds of stuff on Big Brothers Big Sisters. But if you want to learn more about the local stuff, then stick to that. But and then, of course, if you know Big Brothers, people that are involved, talk to them. Give them, I'm telling you, those testimonials will give you great insight on what it's like. And I'm pretty sure when you're done listening to those, it's going to sway you to want to do it. So.
Yeah. And, the Big Brothers and Big Sisters are probably our best
advertiser.
Yeah.
Because, and like you said, because, and this probably happens more often than not, you have folks that working for you or are bigs today in your program because they were littles in this program. And they know exactly where they're that the things that they took out of that, and the things that they're probably better people today because of what they learned in Big Brothers Big Sisters, experienced in that.
Yeah.
So
it's a life-changing event.
Yeah. What's the phone number for the office here?
575-627-2727.
And that's BBBS, I believe, is that last four if you're having trouble remembering.
No, 2227.
Yes, 2227.
627-2227.
Yeah, BBBS.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And like you said, the Big Brothers Big Sisters, Southeast New Mexico, BBBSSENM.org.
Yeah.
Is there anything we missed, Bill?
No, other than that, I thank you again for your
Thank you for this. This is awesome. I really appreciate that. It's very nice.
Well,
it wasn't expected with him, but it's very nice to be appreciated. Thank you very much.
Cool, the leather.
It's like a leather bound. I was like, it's almost like a book. It kind of looks like a book. That's cool. Well, it'll go on my display back here.
Yeah, right behind the orange car.
That's right. I will put it there.
What's that car called? The
General Lee.
The General Lee, yeah.
That one's autographed by Bo Duke and Cooter from Cooter's, Cooter's Garage. Remember? Yeah, they both signed that one. So that's an autograph, General Lee.
In an original box.
That's right. Well, I bought it at Cooter's Garage in Sperryville, Virginia. Again, if you're a fan of the show, I think he's moved it to Tennessee or something. But basically, it was a place there in Virginia, middle of nowhere, right off the interstate, and they had all this stuff from the Dukes of Hazzard show. Like they had some of the General Lees. They had like memorabilia from the show there, and of course you could go eat and shop and all that.
Yeah.
The day I went, of course, Cooter was hanging out, shaking hands and signing autographs. And the day I went, Roscoe showed up, and he's now passed. But the day I was there, Roscoe P. Coltrane, the sheriff, he showed up in uniform, and then him and Cooter sang "Just Them Good Old Boys" up on a stage, and so I got to meet Roscoe. I didn't get Roscoe's signature because I couldn't get near him long enough with my stuff, but I got to talk to him, and then of course Cooter. I grew up loving Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, I like that show too.
So it'll go right there. Thank you, Bill. You and your family and everyone have a happy and awesome Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in December. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Good.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Hopefully we'll have some new Christmas matches to talk about in December.
Hopefully.
Good deal. Thank you, sir. We'll see you then.
Bye.
It is 8